All right, hey, Don Copeland here today with the Mutoh 461 UF, and what we're going to show you today is actually a print on a piece of basswood. This is a piece of wood that you can buy. I think we got these at Michael's. These are often used for woodcraft. They burn really well, and a lot of people like to paint on them and do decorative things. Great Etsy type of project. And so what we're printing on it, and we actually took a stock photo we bought offline, put a Henry David Thoreau quote on it. We're printing it direct onto the wood, about 18 cents worth of ink. What we're going to do is we're going to let this one finish up printing. We're going to show it to you, and I'm going to show you the process on another piece of wood with a different piece of artwork, but similar concept to it, and let you see how simple it is. And this is something you can make a ton of money on. Something like this, if you were to customize it, easily this could be $40, $50 a piece for these type of prints. These pieces of wood, one-offs are anywhere from $5 to $10 a piece. If you're buying them in quantity, you can get them much cheaper. And the cool thing is you can actually customize these pretty quickly, even though they're oddball size shape. You just need a cell phone and some creative work in the software. We're going to show you that here in a minute as well. Looks like it's about finished up. All right, there we have it on this first one we're going to print. Let me pop it out of here. I'm looking over at 3 minutes, 16 seconds. It took us to print that. There you can see that just came out awesome. Father and the son, they're on dock fishing. A great Henry David Thoreau quote on it. Awesome piece of work. Did you notice how close we came here to the edges? Staying within and not printing out onto the bark, but filling up most of that wood. That's what we're going to show you how to do in this next step. This is actually a photograph I took with my cell phone of the actual log we're going to print on. I dropped it into Photoshop, deleted the background, just to make it easier to work with. And I quickly digitized an outline for this using the designer software. Not terribly worried about getting this 100% accurate, but it needs to give us at least a good reference for where we're going to place the log itself onto the bed of the printer. All right, once I have that done, I'm actually going to edit that real quickly. Take all those, turn those to round points. And as you'll see here, we zoom in on it, it'll be really easy now to edit this and make it much closer to the actual shape we want it to be just by, I'm just using the arrow keys to actually move these around. Get these all close. I'm really more concerned about having the same general shape than I am about the exact positioning of the shape itself, because we want to actually use this. You'll see here in a minute. We're actually going to use this as our basis for our secondary inline, which is actually going to control the shape of our print. All right, so we have that outline. I'm going to put an outline on it. Make the outline black there so you can see that outline. That's the outline we're actually going to print onto the bed. And what I did is I went ahead and I duplicated that, and I'm going to size that down, and that's going to become the boundaries of the actual image I'm going to print. Now, as you can see, this isn't 100% accurate because all these, there's a thickness difference all the way around it, so I'm probably going to pull this out just a hair here, get it a little bit more consistent to the shape of the inside of that log. All right. That one I'm going to color the outline in a yellow just so I can see it. All right. Last thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to bring in the image that we're working with. All right. Which is the bitmap here. I want to bring that in and show you that. It's going to show up there. So I want to make sure that outline that I have, all right, I can see that. So I want to actually move that up to layer 4, which will put it up on the top. And now I can see that. And now I see my image exactly as we want to see it printed. This outline is going to represent the print area, and as you can see, actually everything I want to see inside of there fits very nicely. So if I select that with this, I can actually go in and I want to do what's called a clipping layer. Now I do have to put both of those on the same layer, so I'm actually going to bring that down to this layer. And then I'm going to take those two items in that layer, and I'm going to make that into a clipping path. Now we have the item we want to print, which is right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and print this outline onto the bed so I can position my log. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to print this right on top of it. And you'll see where we're going to position up right there in the middle of that log, and I think it's going to look pretty nice. All right, so what we've done, we've taken that outline we had showed you in the software section of it, and that we traced around the outside of the wood. We've printed it here on the bed. We're going to position the piece of wood in here, and then we're going to send the design up, centered up on that same position. Just about finished up there. This one was 21 cents worth of ink. It's a little bit darker print, so it uses a little bit more ink. All righty. There you have it. It's a piece of basswood. It's cut probably an inch thick. Printed directly on it. No white ink underneath because the wood itself, as you can see around the edges here, is pretty white. So we get a pretty good representation of the colors. We did use a highlight white for the text. And about 21 cents worth of ink. It's a little creative on how we shaped it up to fit inside of the wood without printing on the bark as best we could. I think we did a pretty good job of that. It's a great item for like an Etsy store or any type of customization type store like that, storefronts and whatnot. You could do this. Take somebody's custom picture, put whatever they want on it. You know, this could have been a wedding favor for somebody. You could have a picture of their kid, something like that. Something like the father, son on the other one, or this for me. But this is another great way that you can make money using your Mutoh 461 UF, or you could have done it on the 661 UF as well. Just another great way to make some money with it. Minimal costs into it. You knock out 10 of these in an hour maybe, and if you make 20 bucks a piece on them, that's real money. I'm Don Copeland with the Mutoh 461 UF.